I've been professionally editing videos for over 3 years now, and I've gotten so much faster at it because first, I make sure that I don't waste time when I'm editing, and this means a few things. To start, I like to close my door, throw my phone to the other side of the room, and make sure I'm not opening social media, especially YouTube and even on my computer. It's very easy to get distracted when you're editing, and a big part of that is procrastination. Beating procrastination isn't easy if you fall victim to it, but it all stems from the fact that you're expecting editing to be fun 100% of the time, and when it's not, your brain gravitates towards stuff that isn't hard to do, like scrolling on social media. Understand that YouTube and especially video editing is a lot of work, and work isn't always going to be fun. I would recommend getting out of the mindset that you're gonna have a blast while you're video editing, and instead understand that you need to be disciplined and get stuff done even if it isn't fun or easy. Drinking water and eating good food is also essential if you're looking to edit faster, and honestly, if you want to work on anything for long stretches. Fill up on fruits, proteins, and whatever else gives you energy, and bring a huge water bottle with you while you edit so you maintain high energy levels and can push through the most boring parts of editing. Sleep is important too, but especially if I'm not able to get enough sleep the previous night, I like to drink coffee to stay awake and energized so that I'm not falling asleep and taking a ton of breaks when I'm editing, which greatly speeds up production time. In regards to the actual editing that you'll be doing, a really big time suck is the time that you spend doing an edit, then re-watching the entire video up until that point to see how it all looks together. It might not seem like a lot, but when you multiply X amount of edits per video times the number of seconds that you're replaying, it's horrible. In general, if you're looking to crank out good videos as fast as possible, you also need to stop trying to make perfect edits and be okay with something that's good enough. Understand that literally nobody except you cares about making things perfect, and if it's passable, then you'll be okay. Now let's talk about keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts allow you to take an action that might involve you moving your mouse and clicking a button or two and shorten it to the press of a couple keys. This makes you faster little by little, with each action of yours being sped up by fractions of a second, which adds up when you consider the millions of mouse movements and clicks that you'll make throughout editing a video. It's going to be different depending on the video editor that you prefer, so head to Google, look up the keyboard shortcuts for your video editor of choice, and try to learn one or two every single day that you can apply while you're editing. Eventually, muscle memory will kick in and you'll be crazy fast and familiar with your editor. And once you understand the value of little optimizations adding up to make editing faster, you'll also see that every single time you need to search for a stock video, sound effect, or piece of music, you have to stop working, waste time looking, and maybe when you find something, it's not even that good. There's two ways to speed this up. First, get all of your footage, sounds, and music to the best of your abilities before you start editing. This gets rid of the problem of interrupting your workflow when you need to go get assets from the internet. Second, it's helpful to build up a library of non-copyright assets that you got off the internet so that you can reuse them later. This is especially useful for music and sound effects, as you'll often reuse a certain style of music across all of your videos and will repeat the same sound effects a lot of the time. Stock footage is more difficult in this sense because you'll probably need different clips depending on the video you're making, but more generic footage is still helpful to stockpile. A couple of years ago, I bought this 4TB external hard drive to store all the sounds and music I had collected, and usually I just throw both these sounds and music folders on that drive into every single new Premiere Pro project, and it would work out great. Especially if you name things properly and create organized subfolders, this is a really good hack for speeding up your workflow. Do this with editing presets as well if you're able to find anything good on the internet. If you haven't gotten them already, I'd recommend signing up to my email list at natewealth.com/free-assets to get some of my personal editing presets for free. You'll also get a bunch of sound effects for free too, so there's basically no reason not to sign up. Beyond my free presets, I'd recommend making your own for animations and effects that you often repeat. For example, if you make a ton of animated subtitles or have a talking character like I do in my videos, it may be helpful to have presets for those preloaded so that you're not manually placing keyframes for hours and can actually get things done quickly. It's gonna vary based on your video editor of choice, but in Premiere Pro, all you have to do is place your keyframes, right-click on the effect with the keyframes, and create a new preset. Depending on the type of effect, you'll want it to either stretch itself with the size of the clip, anchor itself to the start, or anchor itself to the end. And when you want to use it, all you have to do is look for it in the Effects tab and drag it on to your clip. This works great if you've got stuff that you're used to making manually yourself a lot of the time, but this is also a lot of work, and if you've got 100 different effects that you want to make into presets, it's a ton of time that you have to invest in upfront. front, which is really bad if you're in the middle of projects with tight deadlines. And I haven't even started talking about more advanced motion graphics, because you might make the same sorts of motion graphics all the time too, which requires you to figure out all of that as well to build up a library. And if you need a certain animation or motion graphic that's not in your library, you'll still have to make it yourself and waste a ton of time. My solution to this is to actually leverage other people's time and pay for services like Envato Elements that provide motion graphics, presets, stock video, and sound effects all in one place. This video is sponsored by Envato Elements, but I literally use their tools myself and have recommended Envato to a ton of creators, so I promise I'm being genuine. I personally hate looking for B-roll, sounds, and motion graphics because of how tedious it is, and also the fact that they're usually very low quality if I have to take them from YouTube or random websites that I find on the internet. This is where Envato Elements clutches up, because Envato has some of the highest quality stock footage, motion graphic templates, and sound effects all in one place, meaning that I'm not wasting my time scouring the internet anytime I need a certain asset. Everything is just a search away. Sometimes I'll also need to create complex animations and motion graphics that take forever if I were to make them myself, but instead I just sift through the tons of Premiere Pro, After Effects, and DaVinci Resolve templates that Envato has available, pick one, and drop it into my video editor of choice. It saves me so much time. Additionally, Envato has presets that you can download as well, which means that you don't have to waste time creating them yourself and can keep cranking out high quality videos that your audience will love. So use my link in the description to sign up today if you're interested and get unlimited downloads to speed up your editing by a ton. I personally use Envato Elements and I'd really recommend it. And all of this is great if you're editing videos by yourself, because each little step that you take towards speeding up your workflow will help you crank out videos faster and make more money with your channel. However, I'm currently making about $13,000 a month off of YouTube at 17 years old, and the only reason I was able to get to that point was because I realized that outsourcing my editing was by far the best way to speed up my workflow. When you're at a point where you have some capital and can invest in outsourcing your editing, it should be one of your top priorities if you're looking to make a ton of money with your channel like I do. However, I wouldn't necessarily recommend conventional outsourcing strategies like going on Fiverr or Upwork if you really want to get to the top.